Hey guys, Coach Kirsten here, and I got a request to show some stretches for swimmers. So I'm going to show you some of my favorite stretches that I like to do that stretch the muscles that I use a lot during swimming. Before I get started though, I do want to say that for me, I feel like mobility is a really good way to stretch those muscles, especially for swimming. But flexibility is very important as a swimmer. So check out my mobility video. I will put it in the comments, but also here are some stretches. And stretches don't need to be static stretches. That's where you hold the stretch. They can be dynamic where you're moving around a little bit. And for me, that helps my joints and my muscles stretch out a little bit more when I'm a little more moving. But if you don't feel comfortable doing that, then static stretches, just holding the stretch, is great. So I'm going to show you some stretches from top to bottom. So I'm going to start with a neck stretch because my neck gets really tight when I swim. So I like to bring this arm down and then pull my ear toward my shoulder and focus on reaching these fingertips down. So I'm opening up this part of my neck. If you have something heavy like a dumbbell that you want to hold in this hand to create a little more traction, that's actually a really great way to stretch a little bit more. And then I take this and bring my chin toward my chest, and then other side. And how long do you hold a stretch? Depends on how much time you have. If you have 5 minutes to go through all these stretches, maybe hold them 15-20 seconds. If you have 10 minutes to stretch, maybe hold them 30 seconds and then chin down. So it's up to you how much time you have. So the next place that we're working a lot when we swim is our lats. So I like to arm overhead and then just pull. So this is stretching down the side of my body and my lats. So make sure you do that on both sides. And again, you can add little bits of movement. It's called dynamic stretching. It's moving a little bit rather than holding it in a static stretch. Totally up to you. And then another place I tend to get tight is my chest. So I like to put my hand on the wall at shoulder height and then rotate open to get a good stretch there. And try not to creep that shoulder up to the ear. Hold it down and do that on both sides. You can also do up where you hold your hands behind you and lift. But I like, it's a great stretch, but for swimming, this one opens my chest more, and that's what gets tight when I swim, not necessarily my shoulder, which this gets a little more of shoulder and down your arm. All right, moving down your body, my lower back is one thing that is the most tired and sore after swimming. So I'm gonna show you two, one right now and then one when we get down on the floor. But it's just really simple. Bend over, chin to your chest, and let everything just hang. That actually stretches all down the back of your legs, up through your lower, middle, and upper back. And then core, if you're doing a lot of core stuff, even just a streamlined stretch, maybe lean back a little bit, will open that up a little bit. Another thing you use a lot when you swim is your forearms, especially if you're doing a lot of pulling. So pressing your palms together, fingers apart, press here is going to stretch out the bottom part of your forearms, and then opposite of that is going to stretch out the top part of your forearms. Typically, if you're doing a ton of kicking, you might need to do some extra stretching in your hips and your quads and hamstrings. However, I like doing more mobility stuff. So again, watch my mobility video. And then let me bring this down a little bit because I'm going to show you my two favorite stretches. So one is a sumo squat. And if you can get your heels to the ground, fine. If you can't, fine. If you need to take your feet out a little bit wider, that's okay too. But basically, you're opening your inner thighs in a squat as low as you can. You're pushing your inner thighs open with your elbows. I push my hands together. That just creates more traction here. But what this does, it stretches your whole hip, your inner thighs, your outer thighs, and this is that lower back stretch I was talking about. So this opening your hips and leaning forward a little bit will really, really, really get your lower back open too. And then this also stretches your heel, your Achilles area, and your calves. So this is my very favorite. So I usually go from here to that forward fold and back and forth a few times. And then finally, ankles. Ankles are something that flexibility of ankles in swimmers is super, super important. If you're a horrible kicker, it could potentially be that you have very inflexible ankles. So a great stretch for that is to put your feet face down on the ground. And if you're not used to this, it's super, super intense. And you just sit back. And you might not be able to sit all the way on them starting off. You might have to just like kind of start putting some weight on them until you can get them all the way flat. And I like to hold this one a little bit longer. And you could do some upper body stretches while you're up here. And then you're gonna tuck the toes under and push down through the balls of your feet. And again, you might not be able to put all this weight on your feet right now, and then just back and forth those. You might get some cramping in your feet because you're not used to it. But these are really good ways to get that flexibility in your feet and your ankles. So I hope these I hope this was beneficial, informational for you. If you have any questions about these, let me know, and go enjoy your swim. All right, bye.